What is up, fellow benchwarmers? Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Benchwarmers. I'm your host, JJT, with Commish Eric. Depth chart, season still here. We talked about four other teams in the last episode. We're continuing with four more teams, and today we're going to be talking about Brooklyn, the Charlotte Hornets, Chicago, and Dallas. I don't want to, prolong this any further. So let's
go.
Let's get going as soon as I get to share this. Hold on. All right. So Brooklyn is going to be interesting because we've got three, quote unquote, superstars with a lot of uncertainty as well.
Who's your starters?
Yeah, this is probably the starters. I mean, Kyrie, Seth, Curry, Ben Simmons, KD, and Claxton. I think those are solid starters already. I don't see, for Claxton, I don't see anyone going over him in the center position. I'm not sure if they're gonna go small and maybe play Markieff there. Yeah, but I think this is it. This is probably the starting lineup for them.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. So I guess we can go right away to Durant and Irving, Kyrie and Ben, because we have to talk about them given what happened in the offseason and Brooklyn and everything else.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, how confident are you in picking him? Where do you pick him?
I still think he's worth a first round pick, Kevin Durant. I still feel that. I'm not comfortable picking him in the top 5. But past that, maybe the 8th, 9th, 10th spot, I might, get him there, try to get him there. I know those spots are what? Tatum's, right? The Tatum's, the Trae Youngs, maybe.
Steph.
Steph, but Steph would probably go within that top 5, 6. I don't see any reason why, I can see some people picking Durant over Jason Tatum. I think Durant can be picked over what? Who else in the first round? The LaMelos, I guess.
Yeah. He's over LaMelo, Tatum, Trae Young, over Haliburton, I think. Those guys, Lillard. So I think
Trae Young, I still might consider Trae Young over just because of the assist that Trae Young gives and the durability as well. But other than that, I think Durant still lords over the other guys.
Again, I'm not comfortable only because of the injury risk, but he's clear cut per game number 2 in fantasy. Per game. We're not talking about totals. But because of the uncertainties, if you can get him at 6, I think I got the 6th pick in the
fantasy, the Black Mamba League.
Black Mamba, yeah. So maybe I'm giving away too much. But if you can get him at 6, I think you should be happy. I've been going back and forth with the first round and then the second round in my head for the past few days. I think KD, he has to prove something. I'm going narratives now. He has something to prove. And given that his stock really went down,
there's no way KD should drop second round. There's no way. I also don't think
where?
The second round.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't even think he drops past the 10th. There's no way he should be dropping past the 10th. Like we said,
no way.
We talked about the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th picks. Lots of uncertainties in those positions. Plus, there's really no clear cut. Even if you pick someone like Haliburton, even if you pick someone like LaMelo, they're pretty much the same risk as Durant. LaMelo is really not known as a very durable player. We've seen last year, he got injured, came back, wasn't really the same LaMelo when he started, right? Tyrese is really, he has good good fantasy game, but not proven yet. You know,
Agree.
the
Yeah.
percentages could be bad too. Like when he owns the team, we've seen that in Indiana, like where he shoots what, five of 16, 5 of 17. These things would not happen with Durant. So yeah, I don't think you should think twice. He shouldn't be dropping past the 10th. Now Kyrie though is a different situation, I guess. Kyrie,
Um. Okay.
there's lots of he'll really make you think twice
Do
a
you
lot
agree
of
he's a
times
first rounder per game?
based from what he showed last year. Yes,
Yes. Okay.
based from what he showed last year, uh the per game stuff, he said what, a 60-point game, right? And he
Yeah.
was
He averaged 27 points, 5 assists, 1.4 steals, 3.4 turnovers, 92% free throw shooting, only 2 turnovers a game. He's first rounder. He's a first rounder. But of course we're not gonna pick him in the first round. We we know that.
that's always been the problem of Kyrie. And Kyrie, the thing with Kyrie, and the thing that managers should watch out for, Kyrie has always been picked in really good value positions because people have always been afraid of him. People have always, I mean, 2 3 years ago he's been picked what, late second round, right? There were times he's picked late second round, mid second round, but he's always gone past that per game.
So what pick is it that when you're there and he's there, you pick him?
I probably late second round. I'm willing to take the chance there.
Give me a number. Like you're there, he's there. Yeah, I'm taking a chance.
22, 23, 24.
So at 22, like if
Yeah,
he's still there, you're gonna go for it.
yeah. And especially if I have a solid first rounder. I mean, if you have Jokic, for example, or Giannis,
Yeah. If you have Jokic or Yanis,
because
no,
that's where
no.
you're gonna pick, right? If you have Jokic,
Yes.
your next pick is the 24th. If you're in the 12th team, right? Maybe not if you're in the 14th team. If he drops further beyond 24, then I'll probably that's better for you.
Actually, I'm gonna just say that I've been thinking about it. Pairing him with Jokic is a perfect way to start your draft. If he pans out, plays 60. Actually, if he plays 65 games, 60 to 65 games, he's gonna end up first round even in totals. That's
Yeah.
how good he is. That's how good he is. So, if you
There's
pair him
a
with Jokic,
there's
perfect.
a saying, right? When you're investing, when others are fearful, you should be greedy. And I think this applies to Kyrie. Everyone's gonna be fearful of Kyrie. Everyone's fearful of Kyrie every single year. And I've seen him drop to what, 28, 27 in the drafts. And he's always played better than that, way better than that. So I think everyone would, the more that the bad news about Kyrie is there, the better for some of the fantasy managers who are willing to take the risk. The key here is that pair him with maybe a low risk player. I think that's the
Yes.
key here for Kyrie. Even if you
Yeah.
don't get full Kyrie for the whole season, at least you have a solid first round pick. Then
Don't
um, do you would you pick him first round though?
first round pick,
Yeah, late
Kyrie?
first round.
No.
Yeah,
No, no. We will not pick Kyrie in the first round. I don't care if he's first round value. That's just too risky. I agree with you. If he's still actually, I'm higher than you. If he's there at 18, 19, I might consider if I got like Harden dropped to me, or maybe not Harden, maybe somebody like Yanis dropped to me at maybe 6 or 7,
that's
and
not
then
gonna
will come back.
happen. It's not gonna
You
happen.
can't say it can't happen
No,
because
that's not.
we've
Come
seen.
on, six,
No,
seven,
no, because
Yanis.
after Jokic, I've seen he go number two. I've seen Luka go number two. I've seen a lot of different uh opinions from managers. So at number 6, there's a chance Yanis falls to you. There's a chance. I will guarantee you there's a chance. There will be leagues where you can get Yanis at number 6. And if that happens, well, I'm just saying 6 because I have the 6th pick. So I'm talking about it in that sense. But if I'm like 5th or 4th and I got Yanis, yeah, because the other options there are Embiid, right, and Harden. And
Yeah,
those guys are a little bit, well, yeah, a little bit injury prone. So maybe not a good pairing with Kyrie. So I'm
yeah.
more comfortable with
You
maybe a
probably
Yanis
won't
or
do
a
that.
Carl
Yeah,
Anthony Towns or a Carl Anthony Towns. You can pair that too.
that's a
That
nice
combo.
combo. Yeah, that's a nice
Yeah.
combo as well. Now the third guy is probably going
Simmons.
to be, another question mark when it comes to the draft would be Ben Simmons. Where do you pick him? We haven't seen him. He came from an injury. We initially thought that it was just, a mental thing with him, just not ready or trying to hold out. But he got surgery for his back. That means he was really injured. At least the benefit of the doubt is there. Now
Surgery.
Simmons pre-injury, I mean pre last year, what was a second rounder, right? Late second round,
Yeah, late
right?
second round
Late
to
second
third
round.
round, I
I
think.
mean, on a 14 team league, not really on a 12 team. Probably on a 12 team, maybe a third round guy.
In terms of draft, yes. He was probably in a 14 team late second round, but in terms of rank, if you don't want the other categories he's weak at, he's probably lower than that.
Yeah.
Because he can't shoot 3 pointers, he can't, his free throws bad. So that's big. That's two categories plus turnovers that's gonna hurt him.
So
But
now, how do
because
you treat him?
now,
Yeah.
I see him right now. He's 92nd in Yahoo. that that's kind of insane, right? That's kind of low. But I'm not a fan of his game unless I'm punting free throws. So if I'm punting, I might take a chance on him. If somehow my team starts to go towards the punting free throw area, then if it's right, he's there at the late in the 70s, 80s, he's worth it. But if I'm not punting, I might just, pass. I might just pass.
So much uncertainty with Ben Simmons. We haven't seen him play for more than a year. So um
Yeah.
and we know his free throws are bad. We saw that he didn't want to shoot. The last memory of we had of Ben Simmons was not good. He wasn't even shooting. So, I mean, we don't know if that carries on to the season. Him not shooting, especially with players like Kyrie, Kevin Durant, right? He probably won't have the ball as much when he was in Philly pre James Harden. So
There are talks that he's gonna play center. There are talks. There are rumors that they might try him at center. I
yeah,
don't know.
and what does that do for his fantasy value? I mean, what will he contribute there? I mean, so we don't know. Lots of uncertainty. Personally, I'm not gonna be trying to pick him whatever value there is. Maybe outside 100, yeah, but within that 100, if there are better, safer options, I'll probably go with those guys. Um, but the potential is there. But again, like I said, if he's gonna be playing with Kyrie and KD, I just don't see him, you know, giving out great value wherever he is picked, and lots of risk.
Yeah.
Players who might surprise you. So probably Ben
Not
Simmons,
sure.
the guy that you probably stay away with. I
Yeah, stay away. Definitely, it's Ben Simmons. Unless you're still thinking of drafting Markieff Morris, but
or you're still thinking of drafting TJ Warren.
yeah, or TJ Warren, those guys, no, don't stay away from those guys. But Ben Simmons, I could see it's the most stay away already here. But again, as I said, I find value in that low rank he has. If I am punting free throws, I'm willing to take that chance because his value really skyrockets. And I I just feel like this Brooklyn team might have some motivation as a team to do well. So maybe. But yeah, stay away. The biggest here is Ben Simmons. Breakout or of course Nick Claxton.
Yeah.
It's a given. There are a lot of questions between Claxton, Isaiah Jackson, those Walker Kessler and everybody else. I think Claxton is the best among them. For one, there's nobody ahead. The only worry I have is that if they trade somebody within the season, they might get I don't know maybe an Aiton back. like if it doesn't work out and in the middle of the season they trade Durant and then Aiton's eligible to be traded already, they go back to Phoenix and they do that trade, which can happen, and then now Claxton becomes a backup. But for now, yeah, I don't see anybody there
Yeah.
that's gonna challenge Claxton.
Top 100 though.
He could be top 100. If it stays this way, if the depth chart stays this way, I can see him going top 100. I'm not picking him top 100 because there's no value in doing that. I see him lasting until 120, 110 to 120. He's still there. He's still there. Even if he's a hype guy, he's available there. I'm gonna pick him there
All
and
right.
get value there.
Pretty much that's the depth chart. I mean, the other guys, Joe Harris is coming off an injury. I'm not sure how effective he's gonna be. Maybe Royce O'Neal
Especially,
is the other because he's been, the utility guy in Utah, but he probably won't be starting here. So that,
yeah.
drops his value as well. So nothing, no one really enticing. Maybe Cam Thomas, uh, some players to look out for and
Maybe
see
they
if they
run.
stay hot.
They run
Darren Sharp,
over Sharp over Thomas because, well, as I said, Claxton doesn't have anybody to compete with, and Sharp is the next guy. Over the other guys you mentioned, I think it should be Sharp.
yeah, all right. So now let's move on to Charlotte. The Hornets.
There,
I guess the biggest thing here is that the Miles
starting five
Bridges
first.
situation. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Miles Bridges situation. But the starting five, Lamelo. I think Lamelo, Rozier, Hayward. Uh, yeah, PJ and Mason. I'm not sure if
yeah.
Jalen starts over PJ and then PJ comes off the bench because they like doing that. Or maybe Oubre starts. But I think either PJ or Jalen starts in the power forward position. That's the only unsure thing for me. The rest, I think, is pretty much set.
Yeah. I agree with that starting five: Lamelo, Rozier, Hayward, PJ, and Plumlee. I'm not sure if that's gonna last until the end of the season because Plumlee is boring and I don't see any upside. They might need a better partner for Lamelo now that you mentioned Miles Bridges is gone. Well, I'm assuming he's gone. I wrote that I think he's not gonna play this season. So maybe they get the young Mark Williams there as a starter next time. But for now, I think it's the starting five.
Yeah. Rozier, we talked about Rozier last episode. He has been surprising, so far past 2 years. I mean, even last year he was drafted a little higher, but still surprised a bit for many. How do you see this? Because Lamelo, we all know is going to be a first rounder, probably up there as a first rounder. Rozier, we still don't know. Another player who's hard to value as well.
Rozier's always underrated. He's always undervalued. He's 50 something right now, and I think even at 50 something, that's kind of low for him. He's always been top 30 the past few years, top 35 at the very least. So I think he will not go there. He will always be there available at the 50s. Because remember, at the 40s to 50s, there was a big man run. People pick big men
Yeah.
because, right, everybody's looking for that. That's why Rozier drops. And if you got your big man early, get Rozier at the 50s, still good value. I think he can continue to be a third rounder this year, especially with Miles Bridges gone and Hayward criminally
Is it
always
safe to say
injured.
Hayward's the guy you stay away from?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. I would say Hayward.
If
He's
if
going up.
Rozier is the undervalued guy, I think Hayward's the overvalued player.
The problem with Hayward is is rising up the ranks because of Miles Bridges' absence, and people look at the depth chart like, so who's gonna who's gonna take the points, the stats for the usage from Miles Bridges, and they look at Gordon Hayward, but
But I see
he
PJ Washington doing more load,
yeah.
getting more runs. Even Jalen McDaniels getting more runs. Oubre would probably be the same Oubre. Oubre has been, for the past couple of years has been limited to being a spot up shooter, um, or an outside shooter, not really a guy who plays the pick and roll. So I think PJ and Jalen McDaniels will be the two guys to watch out for here. They
Yeah.
play small as well from time to time, so PJ could play alongside Jalen. It's just that the chemistry between them and the Melo, we don't know.
Just I picked PJ over Gordon Hayward. They're beside each other in the ranks, but no way should Gordon Hayward be picked over PJ. PJ should go first, even if he scores less. He just does more, and he's not as always injured as Gordon Hayward. But my question to you is, Gordon is at 104. Does that tempt you? Does that like make you think like
Yeah, it does.
104?
It does.
That's the problem, right? That's the
It
problem. That's
does. I mean,
exactly the situation.
104 might be, if he drops to past 110, which is not too far out.
Yes, right?
Yeah, I
Makes you
think
think.
you'll take some chances. I mean, I think from last year I learned not to pick risky players. So if you've got a good set, solid players in the early rounds, who are not considered really the risky picks, then I'll take my chances with Gordon Hayward past the 100. And then maybe, but expect him to play half a season because he always does play half a season, right? He doesn't finish the season.
Well, if you expect him to play half a season, even 100 is too high for him.
Is it?
I mean, you should hope for maybe 62 games at least, or 60 games from Hayward. If you're gonna pick him at 105 or 10, that's still like seventh round in 14 team leagues.
Yeah.
Still 7 to 8 rounds, still
All right.
early.
Center is going to be a challenge because Mason Plumlee is the guy there. Not much depth, not
Mm-hmm.
much name value, I guess. Is there anyone who you think could surprise us there?
Mark
Or
Williams
any
before the
other
draft.
players, or any other players that could surprise us?
Yeah,
James
Mark
Booknight,
Williams
maybe.
before. No, not that high on book night. And not the others.
But you
It's
were
really
saying Mark Williams.
Mark Williams before the draft. People were always in the mock drafts. That's the one pick that people got right. Everybody, CNN, SI, NBA draft. It's always Charlotte Mark Williams because he's exactly the center that Lamelo loves. He's 7'2" with 7'7" wingspan, who's uber athletic and blocks and just dunks and does nothing else. So that's perfect for Lamelo. So I see a chance. He did suck in the summer league though, but but it's a summer
Come
league,
on,
so
if he
maybe
sucked in the summer league, what do we expect in the
well
regular season?
maybe he's just not used to the pro situation yet. But he's from Duke, so maybe he was coached well
He should
by
be
Coach
pro
K. I
ready.
think Mark Williams would be somewhat to consider. I'm not high on Book Night. I may even look at Jalen McDaniels. You mentioned him a while ago over Book Night, and then if not, Kai Jones. Kai Jones is another first rounder last year. Is another big guy, another guy to consider. But outside of them, not
Yeah.
much
So
else.
Charlotte is probably 4 to 5 man deep when it comes to your drafts. Lamelo, Rozier, Hayward, maybe PJ Washington, and Jalen McDaniel. In deeper leagues, you could
Yeah,
consider Oubre. Oubre's been solid as
yeah,
well.
late round.
Yeah, late round player. All right, let's move on. Not much to talk about. Don't ever consider picking Miles Bridges even as a speculative ad.
Yeah,
I think that's probably not a good idea. All right, let's move on to Chicago. Um, Starting five: Lonzo, Zach, Demar, yeah, Patrick Williams,
Patrick.
and Vucevic. I think those are the
Yes.
solid. Uh, Lonzo, I don't know what's up with Lonzo. Also another player who hasn't really finished a season. I think,
Uh,
right? He hasn't finished the
yes.
season.
Yes. The knee is still problematic. I think he has not been cleared for any contact or any strenuous activities. So I think Alonso might be a question mark to start the season because it's not the tear anymore. Eh? He got surgery with for that. It's the bone bruise, I think. and makes me think of Kendrick Nunn's situation last year, where it took forever. It just didn't heal, and he ended up missing the whole season. So with Lonzo, the situation is similar to that. I think it can heal, it can linger. So he's fallen to around 80 or 90. I've seen some people say he's a steal at that range. I agree if he's healthy, but because he's not, I'm not picking him, and I'm just answering it right away right now. He's someone that I'm staying away from Chicago this year.
Yeah, me too. I'll probably stay away. But 80 to 90 will make you think already if you could slot
Yeah,
him
but
there in your IL position. But Lonzo has proven that he can stay healthy. And the ceiling hasn't been as good as well. I mean, last year he was okay. He started off really well, but tapered off. Caruso probably can be considered to have a better season than him last year. Played more, contributed more. Um, yeah. I know. I Do you think Demar and Zach Levine will be the same Demar and Zach Levine? Because these are, if you're talking about 1A and 1B, these two are probably those guys. 1A and 1B.
I agree, 1A and 1B. But Demar can
Demar
continue what
surprised last year. Demar dropped so far
yeah.
last year. So far. I think he was, being picked at the 70s, the 60s. Even sometimes I think even lower. He surprised last year.
He surprised. He surprised last year, and because of that, he's now a second round pick in drafts. And I sense a Julius Randle kind of situation here, where he played so well, and people adjusted, and then picked him high the next year, and then he struggled. I can see he might not struggle as much as Randle, but I think he's going to take a step back from last year. Last year, he shot 50% from the field. He can continue doing that, but I don't see him getting 28 points a game again. It's kind of tough to do that 2 years in a row, especially if you're, getting up there in age. So I think he's probably gonna take a little step back. Probably gonna be top 35 maybe, but not the top. I don't know how. Where was he last year? Top 15. It was very
Probably
high last
not.
year.
Probably not. I think maybe the top 20. I don't know too, because he slowed down a bit towards the end of the year.
Yeah, he did slow down.
So he was part of the MVP conversation early on, and then he slowed
Yeah.
down, and that narrowed the MVP conversation to three players, 3 to 4 players only. So Demar probably around the 40s and the 50s would be really good value already. I think he probably won't drop to the 60s or 70s now. 40s, I
No,
think,
no,
would
no.
be okay.
He won't even go there. The 40s. He won't go there.
Really?
He's
I think that's too
he's a
high.
second. He's ADPs in the second round. He's gonna stay in the second round, I think. I'm just
You
saying
think
that's
that's
what
too
how people
high?
are drafting. Yes, it's too high. That's how people are drafting us because of last year, because of how
Now,
he performed last year.
now, would you rather
But
have Zach Levine than
I
DeMar?
would rather have
Because
Zach Levine.
Zach Levine's
I would
also a
rather have
second
Zach Levine.
rounder.
Zach is not a second rounder this
I
year. He is
mean,
dropped to
I
the
mean,
third.
before he was a second rounder last year.
Yeah. I would rather have Levine over DeRozan for their price range, but I am not that high on Levine also this year. Same with DeRozan. So I don't have a good vibe with the Bulls this year. I don't know why, but I feel like
Because of these
the
injuries. Because of these injuries.
injuries, and also I feel like last year they surprised. So this year people will have. I'm getting the New York Knicks vibe from them. The year the Knicks got to the playoff the next year, which is last year, they imploded. So I think that's similar to what might happen here with the Bulls because of the injuries, and then because they didn't really add anybody of value. Well, the other teams in the East all improved.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
Vucevic is another second rounder in this team. We said that we'd rather have Robert Williams over him at this point. In our last episode, um, but still one of the better centers, right?
out
Yes.
there. He shouldn't
He's
be dropping too far out.
he should be around third round. I think he's third round this year. Because aside from Gobert, there's Adebayo, there's Sabonis.
Yeah,
So there are players there that are going higher. So I think he should be a third round guy, which is okay. Which is just okay.
yeah. Any player who you think will surprise?
Pat Williams. I think Pat Williams could. Here we go again with Pat Williams. But he did get injured last year. So to be fair, he did not get his chance. He was a sleeper or a pick
Yeah, he
last
was
year
a
before the
sleeper
draft.
last year. Sleeper pick
Yeah, but
until
he
he
got
got injured.
injured. He
Before
came
the
back.
season
He played
started.
well in the Yeah, he played well in the playoffs. So I think he can carry that over. He's again, it's wide open. That power forward position is wide open for him. So Pat Williams, somebody to consider there.
Would you rather have Pat Williams than Alex Caruso?
Yeah. This year, Caruso. My problem is, well, if Lonzo is injured, that opens up a lot of things for Caruso and everything. But assuming Lonzo gets to play in and out, but gets to play, you see the depth there. They have Goran Dragic, they have Caruso, Kobe White. There's Ayo Desunmu is there. We even not even talk about him. He was another surprise last year, and he's a point guard. He's written here as a small forward, but he's a point guard. Then the Javante Green, if you remember Javante Green
Yeah,
last year also. So they have so many guards there that, we have not even talked about Kobe White. Kobe White's another guy there that, is a youngster who can score. And their first round pick is Dalen Terry, who's also another guard. So they're full of guards. That's why I'd rather have Patrick Williams. I think it's wide open for him because of how the roster is, shaping up.
yeah, and but players like Caruso, Donsunmo, are they draftable in a maybe a 14 team, or they're
Uh,
more like an 18 team type of
I
guys?
think 16 team maybe that you could consider Caruso there. 14 team, maybe not. Maybe not for me because you'll pick him realistically the last few picks, and there are lots of higher upside picks that I would consider there. Another player here is Drummond. Another reason why Vucevic is a little lower in my opinion this year is because he has a good backup in Drummond. It's not going to be surprising to see Drummond get to 20 minutes a game, or 17 to 18 at least, or 20 minutes. Unlike before that Vucevic doesn't have anybody behind him, now he has Drummond. So that's another thing to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. So lots of uh question marks here with the Bulls, uh, beginning with Lonzo and the Zach Lavine, DeMar Derozan debate. Lastly, for today, will be the Dallas Mavericks, the team that surprised the playoffs last season. They
I'll take the
made,
starting five
yeah, go.
because Christian Wood, there's reports that he's not starting. He's gonna be their sixth man. So that's big. Okay, that's big. So they're gonna start. They did say Javal McGee is their starter. They offered him that starting position when they were trying to
Lure
sign him.
him, yeah.
Yeah. So it's McGee, Dorian Finney-Smith, it's Luka Doncic, it's Spencer Dinwiddie, and they also announced Reggie Bullock as a starter. So this is wrong, but let's see. But that looks like how it is going to be. Those five,
Yeah.
those five. Those.
Luca, you know, I think there's really not much to talk about Luca. First rounder
Hmm.
clearly will probably go as high as this number two pick. Will
Yeah.
probably not go past the fifth or the sixth pick because of the just being
Handsome.
fan favorite and handsome. Uh, um, other players, I mean, there's really no one here, maybe other than Christian Wood, who is a solid. Maybe it's solid is not the right term, but maybe a top high end fantasy asset.
Um, Luca, of course. Yeah.
Next to
Spencer
him, who
Dinwiddie. I think it's Dinwiddie. If you look at the lineup,
is
like the
it?
Chicago
Dinwiddie
lineup,
over
yeah.
Wood?
Yeah, I would go that way this year because actually Wood is the guy that I would rather stay away from with Dallas. Number one, given the sixth man role. Number two, his role here will be different. This is contending team. I don't know how he would take that. He will not get his shots like in Houston or wherever he was before. So we know his attitude problem. So this is very volatile situation. Christian Wood is at 70 to 80 right now in Yahoo, and I think that's correct. If we can get him there, then that's okay. But remember his free throw shooting, remember his inefficiencies and everything. That's part of him. So the upside is kind of low because of those problems. So Dinwiddie is not also a perfect fantasy asset. He doesn't steal the ball and he has low
He's a
field goal, but
scorer.
just to
Pretty much a
score.
scorer.
But given this lineup, there's nobody else here really that can
I mean,
create.
you can even
So
contend that the next best fantasy option here is Dorian Finney-Smith.
it can happen. It can happen. I mean, rank wise, yes, but of course in the draft you won't draft him first. But rank wise, DFS might be the guy that could rank higher than after Luka. Yes, I agree with
Right?
that. Yes.
There's really not much options here. Not even players draftable other than Dinwiddie and Christian Wood. And even if you draft these guys, you're not gonna be too happy, or you're always gonna be worried. But what production you'll get from these guys? Spencer Dinwiddie, like we said, is more of just a scorer, very one-dimensional. And Christian Wood as a six-man, we don't know. We don't know with a new team. We don't know. We initially thought I was thinking, he could have a good chemistry with Luka, but as a six-man, I don't know. I mean, it seems like a nice match with him and Luka, but now it seems like from the way Komish is saying it, it's not that way.
At least to start the season, I think he certainly will. Well, if those are not rumors, they did say that. If he really comes off the bench, then he will have a slow start. Fantasy wise, I mean, he can play well, he can shoot better, and can know his role and then do it well. But fantasy wise, we're talking fantasy. If people expected 20 points and 10 rebounds from him right away, maybe that will not happen. So if he's going 50 something, too high for me. 50 something is too high for me. If he drops to the 70s and 80s, yes, okay, good. Answering back, yeah, it should go Wood over Dinwiddie. Thinking back, I would rather have Dinwiddie though. Given Wood is going 50 something to 60 something, but if he drops to 70 to 80, yeah, I could consider him. Just be worried about the free throws again. 62% is not something to laugh at, right? So
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So very shallow. Center. Anyone there?
Too deep, man. The center position, McGee, Powell, Maxi Kleber, then you have Wood, they have Bertans. How are you
I
gonna
mean,
get
these I probably these three guys, Powell, McGee, and Kleber and Bertans. Not Bertans, but these three, McGee, Powell, and Kleber, would be in and out of the free agent pool. Just players you
Yeah.
add drop whenever you need one, a center, or really players to fill in some roster spots on the quality game days, in case they have some quality game days. So yeah, anticlimactic end to our depth chart analysis for this episode, with not much to show in the Dallas. Interesting as we look into that depth chart, you see which teams are really shallow when it comes to fantasy assets, and Dallas is probably one of those teams. All right, that's it for this episode of Fantasy Bench Warmers, and we'll see you guys again in the next episode with probably 4 more teams as we try and complete everything in the next couple of weeks before the draft season begins. And draft season probably starts in the next couple of weeks. I know some teams have been drafting, some leagues have been drafting, but that's too early. I think it's way too early. All right, that's it. Komish, thanks.
Yes.
For another episode. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.